What's up, everybody? How are we doing? Today we're going to be doing our pre-weekly forecasting for the week of November 14th. And I'm going to start with dollar index on something I already have marked up that I sent out to you guys earlier. 1 second. All right, so I sent this to you guys earlier. Here is a quarterly chart looking at dollar. A while ago, I sent you weekly points of interest for bullishness to continue on dollar. I don't believe that we've topped. Just looking at this cycle, right? We have quarterly deviation from the lows, consolidation. Here's your first leg, first accumulation. You have a reaccumulation. This is our second leg. So we're looking at discount arrays to take us higher. Again, my draw is going to be here. We have these highs here, low resistance liquidity run here around 121. That's where I believe we can potentially see our terminus for the cycle. And point of interest is going to be inside this quarterly gap. I do think we're going to get there. It's about 250 points away ish. And then I'm looking specifically below this high here. This fair value gap encompasses equilibrium being here. So I'm looking to get below this high inside this gap. Let's hop into DXY on a lower time frame chart. Let's clear all this. All right, as far as the weekly goes, I'm probably going to be looking to these consecutive down close candles. This makes a weekly order block here. That looks like, and you're pairing that with sell side liquidity in form of this swing low from August here. I think that bodes well as an objective. As far as delivery, so we already come into this. Yes. So we did run tag into this sell side liquidity pool at the end of Friday. So I'm not going to try to predict where we're going to start seeing retracement because of the speed at which we are moving. But I look to this balanced price range here. To see some sort, this would be like my first area where I think that we can seek, if it's not going to be this sell side liquidity and more of this daily inefficiency paired with this order block. If it's not going to be this, I'm looking at this area to take us back into this inefficiency because this price range needs to be filled in. And I'm not going to pick. Actually, yeah, well, I'd say this will be my first, my high area of interest there, and then below that's going to be the fair value gap that gets created with this next, with Monday's candle. We'll create a gap here. Yeah, there's really trying to say that this is going to be the bottom. We're going to come straight up into this area. Can't do that yet. There's no confirmed swing point made. So below current low is the BPR. And then we can see return back inside of this range, or, and I don't believe that this will happen possibly coming straight down to the weekly order block and then pushing back up. Those are the two scenarios I see for the week. So yeah, something like this is what I'll be looking for. For the week. And then depending on when we get here, we'll start looking for sell side delivery to be either to this low or my initial objective. Again, it all depends how Monday plays out. So if Monday is bullish for dollar straight away, you know, that would be my preference, but Mark doesn't really care about that. Let me delete this thing, the full thing. Sorry. Bring your speed. Something like that. Again, contingent on Monday. Let's hop into NAS. So this was, I think, yeah, first week. When we had the midweek pivot, sell side was achieved on that forecast. And obviously last week we have CPI week. Let's hop into the weekly. First order business for me is the order block paired with this buy side liquidity pool. It's taken. And this candle becomes, depending on your definition, you can use this as an order block, and then this is a propulsion block, but I'm going to use this as the order block. Because this candle took out and closed below this candle's low. So this candle's high was violated, which validates this as an order block. So now trading back into this range is going to be sensitive. So we have a liquidity pool inside, you know, the top of the order block. This is relatively large, so I'm going to plot consequent encroachment for this, which is just a fancy way of saying the mean threshold or 50%. So we have the mean threshold of the order block pairing up with this balanced price range. Now, where does that leave us in terms of premium discount? You know, current range is right on equilibrium. I like when price stacks areas, notable areas like this for us. Like I said, for dollar, I don't know if we're gonna say trade into this and then come lower, or we're gonna go higher than that first. A lot of my decision making for the week is going to be contingent on what Monday decides to do. So I probably won't be trading AM session for tomorrow. Wait for like lunch reaccumulation on the indices and then catch the second leg or the reversal for London close, whatever it is. I need more data than what I have right now to make a decision. So I'm not saying anything definite, but this will be my area of interest, whether it be coming here or here, coming down into this inefficient area, preferably around 11,200 to 11,400. That's where I want to be. Yeah, 11,200 to 11,400. That's where I want to be for price. So 100 points is kind of a small range, but it is what it is. First objective is going to be the order block, and then second is going to be this swing high over here. So initial top side, or I mean, again, if dollar wants to be strong right out of the open, ignore the run into the daily. And I wouldn't even really call this much of an order block because this body is super small in comparison to the wick, but it does create a move. Displacement magnitude is larger than this candle. So whether it be a run up into this or this and then come lower, or straight down and then go higher. That's what we will be. Save this. SPY. It's the same thing from the other week. That. Do that. Look at the weekly. All right, so we rejected the mean threshold here, and that's notable because it means the order block's still valid. I'll say that's probably not going to be the case much longer. Because I am still short-term bearish on dollar, bullish on indexes. Same thing with Dow. SPY has the weekly order block. And we're going to do the consequent version of this one as well, because it is rather large. We're going to leave this, we're going to pull this over as our only one. I believe this will come into play once we create our initial high. Once you create an initial high, whether it be here and come straight down, I believe this level, the open of this weekly order block, will be used as resistance for some sort of sell profile to bring us back down into this range, just not quite from where we are. So I'm not going to pull it over just yet. But once we make that swing high for the week, when we're trading back down into these areas, I'll be looking at this level as like a break and retest type of deal. Or if we trade below it, same thing, intraday sell model on buy side of the curve to run up into something like this, or the daily for value gap low, and then come lower. Same thing with NAS, BPR, consequent encroachment of the order block, and equilibrium are all relatively around the same area of price. So, and then for this one, for SPY, you have the order block right in the vicinity. This will be a propulsion block, but order block right in the vicinity, because this didn't take any liquidity for me, but propulsion block. So this is going to be another sensitive area of price. So longs from 38.40, if we trade all the way back down into that, look very nice. And then I believe ES will take out that high if my thesis on dollar is correct, that we have the rest of the quarter and part of Q1 before we see strength in dollar return. I'm going to pull this back for now. Pull these back for now. All right, let's hop into Dow. Weekly target. This is kind of small. This is really small for Dow for a weekly target. And I believe that volume balance would be much better. 700 points. So this is likely an area of reaccumulation. You have this balance price range here, filled in, returned, uses resistance, came back. So this liquidity and this volume balance, are really the only two high probability targets I see, because this low resistance liquidity run has obviously already been ran out here. So on this time frame, at least, these are the only two things that would act like magnets for me: swing high, and then inefficiently delivered price, or non-delivered price, because it's a gap. So keep that in mind. Let me set a little bit. And we won't be using this for a while, so delete that. Anyways, okay. So Dow's been the strongest until I think like maybe Friday of last week, Thursday or Friday of last week. NAS is playing catch up. Tech is typically always the one who will lag on a change in direction, but lead in the long run. That's why we've seen NAS have the biggest up days Friday and Thursday, because it's been the weakest for a long time, Dow being the strongest. Dow is much further ahead from everybody. So we're going to continue looking top side. I do believe Dow will start to slow down. NAS will be the quickest, and SPY will be in the middle as usual. Things that stand out for me, really the only thing that stands out for me on Dow is going to be the order block plus fair value gap. there, and then this fair value gap is set. It's much smaller range in comparison to NQ and ES. Same thing, wherever we decide to put the high in. This does look like a swing high type of candle that we would see, but even if we want to, like, say, purge this high before coming down lower, you know, this is what I'll be looking for. Just a small range for Dow for a week, but that is how I see this at the moment. Can I get it in? So that's it right there. I'm a little OCD sometimes. I like to have my annotations at the origin, which is the daily gap between these two candles. Okay, that is it for indices. Actually, I'll do gold because someone kind of regularly asks for gold. Easy draw would be these relative equal highs here. That is your first side target. I'll just put price label on this. So that's what I want. Not a lot looks good in terms of delivery. I don't know how gold likes to run just by itself. I'd like to see a return below this high prior to more up move. So it could be this fair value gap or this order block. Again, I wouldn't really call this an order block, but that's just me. Small body, large wick. Doesn't bode well for me. Let's see, where's the weekly page? Yeah, definitely higher. We do have one liquidity pull down low that can get ran later. What does the macro look like? I don't really look at gold. Let me see something real quick. Bold to say, but I wouldn't say that these highs long term are off the table. Reaccumulation runs at old high, reaccumulation, you know, turtle soup scenario on this time frame. You have a pool of 4 sets of lows, runs them out. So, you know, next logical target on this time frame would be those equal highs. I am having trouble seeing the chat. Can someone type in chat real quick for me? One second. Never mind. Okay. Let's get back to it. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. First target would be this weekly high from below here. depending on when dollar wants to make its strength, return back into this, then come higher. Oops. Let's go top into majors real quick, and then I'll take any questions or something else you guys want to look at. With the chart, no, let's go over this real quick. And let's take this, because next week, this would be important. The reason why I'm annotating this is a fair value gap fill in a monthly time frame. So if we trade above that, I'll be looking for some sort of elasticity of price to kick in and us trade back and close inside of this gap. I'm gonna add this real quick. All my FF people. First target here. Second target here. For this chart, I like the fair value gap we have going on. So let's give it a feel for this. So we're out of the high resistance part of this. So I think this area can be quite sensitive to price as soon as we get into this area, maybe below this low, this high, sorry. That's when we see price react. Yeah, fair value gaps in equilibrium for highest right on equilibrium. So maybe come down to this order block. I don't think so. I'd look for something relatively quick like this. EU. EU blasting my original target from 2 weeks ago. Not quite getting to the sell side pull I was looking for. Mark this real quick. We have the gap here, gap there. Same thing with AU just dropping into the weekly opening gap. And leaving, and then it recreated a new gap, actually, the daily opening gap here. Also a weekly opening gap overlapping these two candles. As far as targets go, same thing with AU. EU actually might be a little different. This liquidity pool is extremely close, so I believe EU can trade up into this liquidity prior to seeking to rebalance the range. And then coming back up. And then I would probably say that's the older block would be the target. And then delivery would be this or that. Yep, sorry. Below last swing high taken, fair value gap, target. GU. This, that's just price. Okay. First motivation daily. So I'd probably look at something like this. This is an order block. It's my, based on how I like to look at order blocks. Full body takes out liquidity, creates a move. You know, I like the move away from an order block to be at least twice the size of the order block. And by definition, that would make this a propulsion block here, which to ICT, these are faster, more aggressively respected order blocks. It's all part of his order block theory. Same thing with everything: mitigation block, propulsion block, order block, breaker block. It's all part of order blocks. They're all different types of order blocks. But this is like we're stringing together order blocks. See how this is overlapping with the original, and you can either use this one too. This order block would be the original for me. Here, connected with this, so this can be a propulsion block, but we took out these two daily lows. So this is my propulsion block. So I'm looking, and it's also stacked up with this gap, daily gap right here. Void, I should say. So I'm actually gonna delete this because it looks like shit. As far as targets go, I'm gonna say this void. It's gonna be the target. Propulsion block is gonna be the vehicle. All right, that wraps up the regularly scheduled stuff. I have a couple of minutes left in the call. So I'll take questions. I am going to stop the recording here. Thank you for everyone who came in.